This was the last Friday before spring break, and basically I had decided to book a ticket to France and go on a trip alone, which was crazy. I literally only brought one backpack with me because I needed to save money, but I took my one backpack and I wore like heavy layers. And then I left New York and headed to the airport. I took the Newark Penn Station train and I had a really late flight. I actually had a red eye overnight, which honestly wasn't horrible because it kind of helped like with the time change, maybe not really. I got on the plane. It was about like a 7-hour flight to Paris from New York, so it wasn't bad at all. I was in and out of sleep. I didn't get great sleep, but I met a local like French girl on the plane that I sat next to, so she gave me some recommendations on where to go and she was super sweet. And when I got to France, I was actually planning to stay in a hostel, and I never stayed in a hostel before. I took the train to the city from the airport, and this was the hostel, like the area of the hostel I stayed at. And the first night I was in a 4-person female suite, and I was staying at the Three Ducks hostel. I think it was about like 40 or 50 a night, so it really wasn't bad. The hostel was like pretty gorgeous, honestly, not gonna lie. There was a cute little like bar downstairs and a patio, and it was right next to this beautiful church, and there was so much stuff around it, so super central. Anyways, I ended up walking to this little restaurant and getting a banana Nutella crepe because I hadn't eaten anything, and I managed to catch this. Two of the girls in the hostel told me they were getting dinner at Montmartre, so I ended up just heading there alone. I found this beautiful wall art. Oh my gosh, I was obsessed. And I ended up just walking around all the little shops, and there was the most gorgeous views of the whole city there. So if you're ever in Paris, I would totally recommend going here. And I went to a really cute, like, tiny thrift store as well. This old Frenchman owned it, and he did not speak any English. I spoke very bad French, but I bought a couple things there as well, which were super cute. I also found out there was a lot of really cool, like, art history there as well. And I saw the famous Wall of Love. Anyways, for dinner, the girls in the hostel ended up going somewhere like really expensive and with food that I wasn't really feeling, so I went to a cafe and I sat alone and I got this like beef stew and some wine, but honestly it was really nice. And I talked to a group of teenagers came and sat next to me, and we like talked in broken French and English for a minute, so that was really fun and they were super sweet. After that, I did take the subway or metro, oh my gosh, I'm used to New York, back to the hostel, and I met one of the girls, Eliana, for a drink at the bar that night, and it was just a cute way to end the night. But I literally crashed so hard. I had only had probably like 7 hours of sleep in the past day or two, but nonetheless I got up and I walked to like near the Eiffel Tower. It was about like a 27-30ish minute walk from the hostel, so really not bad at all. And I went to this place called Zia and I got some fresh pressed orange juice and this Dutch pancake with eggs and bacon. Oh my gosh, I swear one of like the best breakfasts I have ever had. I will dream about it. But my grandparents and all of my family on my dad's side actually all live in Wales, so I decided while I was in France to go visit them because I hadn't seen them since pre-COVID. And I picked up these macarons from them at one of the coffee shops in the airport, and then I fell asleep and crushed like half of them. We're not gonna talk about that though. Anyways, there's the Eiffel Tower. You can barely see it. When I got to Wales, I was there for almost like 4 or 5 days, so it was a good amount of time to kind of just see everyone again. And I didn't want to vlog for that reason, just because I was seeing my family. But I also did take clips, but I want to use those clips because I'm gonna make like a tiny short film with my grandma telling stories and stuff, so look out for that. I'll post it on YouTube as well. But I had a little break in Wales, which was so amazing. Also, after being in the dorm, can I just say how nice it was to have like my own little room and bed. Went back to the airport. I flew out of Bristol, and then I was back at the same hostel, except this time the room that I booked was like a 6-person suite, but again like same gender room. And there was the most gorgeous sunset ever this night when I got back, and I made it just in time. I went on a long walk and I went to this little Italian place, and I was like squished in, but I got some amazing pesto, and I got to talk to some more French locals, and then I did a really long walk to the Eiffel Tower because I was gonna meet Selah again. Just had some amazing pesto. I'm at the Eiffel Tower. and it's really nice out, which is amazing. A pistachio tiramisu. What is this?
Chocolate.
Fondant.
Chocolate fondant.
With something with coulis.
Pancetta, right?
Yeah.
Vanilla pancetta.
Panna cotta.
Oh, I was so wrong.
Good.
I got to see Sayla again and met JT.
Nice to meet you.
We're waiting for cocktails.
Oh, yeah.
So Sayla was one of my best friends when I lived in Virginia for like a brief period of time, and I hadn't seen her in over a year, and she was here with her friend JT, like just coincidentally, like the same spring break, so that was so amazing that I got to see her. Also, I went back to the hostel to try and like show you guys this cute Zara sweater I got, but then someone was staring at me from in the window, so I like got up. The next morning I went to Shakespeare & Co. and I walked down the same street they walked down in before sunset, and it was so cute in that area, right in front of the Notre Dame too. The bookstore was amazing. I loved it, and I wish I had more time to look in there. I also couldn't film in there, so here's like the outside. I did splurge in there, but I got a book, and they actually like stamped the book in front of you, which I thought was really cool. And then after that, I went to Le Deux Magots and I met a family friend from California there, and we got some really amazing lunch. I had this like bacon turkey sandwich. I don't know, but it was so good. This place is pretty famous and definitely on the pricier side, but I would totally recommend. After that, of course, we had to go to the Louvre and we saw the Mona Lisa. I haven't been to Paris since I was like 8, so it was nice to go and mix it up. There's also so many cafes in the Louvre, and so me and Kiara went and stopped so she could get a little quick lunch, and then after that we went and rode the carousel that was in the park, and that was so fun. Felt like a kid. Also, the music they were playing was so cute. We were definitely the only older people there, but that's fine. And then that night, me, Sayla, and Kiara all went to this restaurant called Roxy, and it was basically like Moulin Rouge inspired with live music, and definitely felt like a club. Like, it was so loud and so fun. I got sushi, and then Sayla and I got these cocktails. They were called the Maryland. Don't remember exactly what they were, but they were so good, and the blueberries at the top were amazing too. So we had such a fun night. We also found the coolest like bar after we left there, so I wish we had gone there more instead of like being at Roxy, but still fun, still slay. This was my airport fit. I literally layered so many clothes. I don't know how I made it home with only a backpack, but then JT, Kiara, Sayla, and I all went back to the Shakespeare & Co. because they had a coffee shop, and so we got coffee and we sat in front of the Notre Dame before everyone left for the airport, and that was so cute. Also, the coffee was so good there. That was like the best coffee I had on the whole trip. And then after that, I went and got myself another crepe before I left, except I wanted like the handheld messy one, and I walked to this little fountain and I sat there and ate my crepe. And then after that, I walked to the shops. I went to Stussy actually, but it was nice because I got to like see more of the area. And then it was time to go back to the airport, so I rode the train again. Like, I've literally taken this train so many times now, but I rode it back to the airport. I ended up leaving really early because I wanted to make sure that I was there for my flight. I picked up this ham and cheese quiche from this little bakery too on the way, and it was so amazing. I ate these little Monster Munch chips too just because they were so cute. And yeah, I got there so early, and then they ended up not letting me on the flight with a bunch of other people because I took the wrong COVID test, so I was crying in the airport. But luckily our family friends were there for another night, and they let me stay in the hotel room with them. We got some like Grubhub food, and it was so sweet of them. I ended up getting room service for breakfast, and they had the most amazing view of the Eiffel Tower. And then somehow, after running around the airport for hours with one of the workers, I managed to get the last ticket on a fully booked flight, and I made it back to New York.